Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're gonna be talking about Spanish. Basically on my channel, I really like talking about languages. I don't have that many videos about languages, but I have a few amount. And a lot of people always ask specifically how I study Spanish. And I feel like I have so many tips for this language because I've just been studying it for a long time. And this is the language that I speak the most fluently, that I learned from scratch without like naturally having to learn it. You're gonna see sections at the bottom of the video that kind of like divides the video up a little bit. I have so many resources. I'm gonna tell you different podcasts you can listen to, shows to watch, singers to listen to, YouTubers to watch. I'll tell you different tips and specific mindsets that you need to have in order to succeed in Spanish. Yeah, I'm gonna get into it because honestly, I'm afraid this could be 20 minutes long. So the first thing you need to do, if you have not done yet, is choose a dialect and an accent that you're gonna be learning. With Spanish, I swear to God, most people will think, I don't need to choose one, like Spanish is all the same. It's not. There's so many different variations of Spanish and you're gonna have to choose one. But let me explain to you real quick why it's so important to choose an accent and a dialect. Let's take the word bus, for example. Depending on which Spanish speaking country you're in, this word will change so much. It's not even related. So if you're in Spain, you're gonna say el autobús. If you're in Mexico, you're gonna say el camión. If you're in Argentina, you're gonna say el colectivo. And if you're in Gran Canaria or Puerto Rico, you're gonna say la wawa. So as we can see, those words are not connected at all. It just fully depends on the dialect you learn. I fully only said wawa for my whole time of learning Spanish because I live in the Canary Islands. And if you said autobús to them, they'll understand you, but they're gonna be like, okay. It's not the end of the world. If you speak the wrong dialect in the wrong country, they'll still understand you. But if you wanna be more of a natural speaker, you gotta accept the dialect. Also, let me touch on the accents for a second. Let's take Argentinian Spanish, for example. Most Spanish-speaking countries will pronounce double L as y, so you would say yo me llamo. But if you're in Argentina, you're gonna say yo me llamo Ana. I know. And there's a lot of little things like that that just differ from each Spanish from different countries. So make sure you know about the accent and the dialect that you're learning. I'm sorry, that was like a long intro, but it's so important. Like, it's just, you need to know this. So the next little reminder in language learning is to remember to prioritize speaking skill over any other skill. At the end of the day, you learn a language to speak it. You know, a lot of us, we learn languages in school and we focus on reading, writing, and listening in school. Like, that's what we focus on, and that's why most of us cannot speak any of the language we learn in school. Speak as much as you possibly can. There's just a little reminder that, you know, if you're like, oh, I want to buy 20 grammar books. Yes, grammar is important. Grammar is very important, but it'd probably be better if you focus a little bit more on speaking, because at the end of the day, you can learn all the grammar and still not be able to use it in real conversation. So at the end of the day, is it really helpful? Okay, so now we're gonna get into the actual methods of learning Spanish, and before we get into the different things you need to do, I want you to remember that there's 4 aspects of learning language. There is reading, listening, speaking, and writing. And when I say writing, I basically mean like getting new vocab and practicing grammar. You need to try to incorporate all of these 4 aspects into every method you use. Obviously, with some methods, you're just not going to be able to do all of the 4 things, but with a lot of the common methods that you hear all the time on YouTube, you never realize, but you can really practice all 4 aspects just with that one little simple tip. So, for example, first tip, watch a TV show while writing down vocabulary. That's a super simple tip, and most people have probably already heard it. And that one, you're practicing your listening because you're listening to the speaker, and you're also practicing your writing because you're writing down new vocabulary, you're seeing new grammar structures, and you're just seeing a person speak naturally. But how can you practice your speaking and reading? So for speaking, you can just fully repeat after everything you hear. It doesn't have to be everything, but maybe like every second sentence, just fully repeat it after them. And that's already incorporating another aspect of language learning into that method, which will just in general make your progress go a lot quicker. And then for reading, you can just follow along subtitles and try to read as fast as possible without pausing. So yeah, that's like a simple tip that you've heard before, but now we have all 4 aspects of language learning in this little tip, and it doesn't even feel like you're studying almost, like it's just like you're just watching a show, but you know what I mean? I don't know. Next tip is reading news articles, which already practices your reading and your writing, but you also need to practice your listening and your speaking. So for your speaking, you're just gonna read the news article out loud. A lot of people might think this isn't fully correct, correct because you might be saying something wrong and there's no one there to correct you, but you're still getting more comfortable with speaking, because a lot of the times, say for example, Spanish has some sounds that just don't occur in the English language. It might not help your pronunciation because there's no one there to correct you, but it'll improve your flow of speaking. And then for listening, you obviously can't listen to a piece of text, but you can always get like news on YouTube or news on the radio or news on the TV and just listen to them. If you find some news on YouTube that also have subtitles, that's you're listening, reading, and learning new vocab, and it's just everything at once. The next tip is practice speaking to a camera. In this one, I tried my best to think of 4 aspects for this, but honestly, in this, all I can think about is speaking. Just turn on the camera, speak about how your day went, speak about the book you're reading about right now, speak about what you had for lunch. I don't know, talk about anything. Nobody will see it. You can just look back at it. You can just see like what words maybe were missing from your vocabulary, or you can see which words you were using too much. And in general, that's just like a quick way for you to improve. The next tip is to send voice messages on HelloTalk. HelloTalk is very like, a lot of people love using it. I just don't click so quickly with strangers, but you need to remember that you don't need to have like a full-on friendship with these people. At the end of the day, you're there for a language exchange. So honestly, like what I do whenever I do go on HelloTalk is I'll literally just like text someone. I'll be like, hi, and then I'll just start sending them voice messages. Like maybe they don't even want to listen to my voice, but like 80% of the time they'll reply back with voice messages being like, oh my god, like your Spanish is so good, but you could say this better, or blah 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 blah. And I don't know, a lot of the time we feel awkward. We're like, I don't want to send a voice message, like this is too weird, like this person doesn't know me. I swear to god, 95% of the time the people are so nice. Actually, with Spain, it's like 99% of the time Spanish people are like the nicest people I've ever met. So the next tip is kind of to learn grammar with a book, but not really, because my tip is what to do with that, because I wanted to say like learning grammar out of a book is really helpful. Like we all need it, but it shouldn't be your only source. So practicing grammar with a book is only practicing your writing skill. So if you want to practice your speaking as well, then anytime you learn something out of that grammar book, straight away, like the day you learned it, try to use it in speech. Talk to yourself and use that conjugation or use that expression, or I don't know what you're learning in grammar, but try to use it straight away. Try to see how people use that phrase naturally. Don't be like, okay, this phrase means this, cool, but if you don't know how to use it, what's the point of learning it? So make sure you understand how to use it and speak straight away. Like just use it in speech. Go to HelloTalk, make a voice message, and try to incorporate that grammar point into your speech straight away. If you do it wrong, the person will correct you, and boom, like that is so much more valuable than a grammar lesson, because yes, the grammar book taught you something, but you learned from naturally speaking how to actually use it well. So, and then if you're doing the grammar lesson and you want to practice listening, look up YouTube videos on that topic. There are so many Spanish teachers on YouTube. And if you're doing, for example, the imperfect tense, just look up imperfect on YouTube. And sometimes there's videos where it's just like a 2-minute video of a conversation where they just use the imperfect tense a lot. So that could be really helpful as well, because you're hearing it being used naturally instead of just like written down in the book. And then to practice the reading skill, I would use the Reverso app, because Reverso is basically like an app where you can kind of understand a word through context. So say for example, if you learn the phrase a menos que, but you don't really know how to use it, you just go to Reverso, look up a menos que, and there's gonna be like thousands of sentences using that, and then you could just read through the sentences. You'll get more vocab, you'll get some grammar context because you'll see how it's used naturally, and all of that combined, yes, it will take a little bit more time than just doing one page of grammar, but which one do you think is more beneficial to you? The next point is to read books or Wattpad stories. Wattpad is very underrated for language learning. There are so many books on Wattpad in Spanish. I agree, some of them, they can be written by someone who's 13 years old. Maybe their grammar is not the best, but at the end of the day, it's still coming from a natural speaker. So if you don't want to buy books on Kindle, go to Wattpad. There's a lot of stories in different languages. So reading books practices your writing skills because vocab, and reading skills because you're reading. But if you want to practice your speaking skills, read your book out loud. And if you want to practice your listening skills, try to find an audiobook of that book. If you're reading Wattpad, you will probably not find an audiobook. But if you're reading a Kindle book, you most likely would find like an audiobook on Audible or something. By the way, you can use my link to get like one book free or something. It's not sponsored at all. It's just like an affiliate link. So the next method is learning the lyrics to a song. This practices your writing, speaking, and listening, because writing, you're learning a lot of new vocab through that song. Grammar, I would not not relate on grammar in a song because they kind of change it around a little bit to fit the rhyming scheme sometimes. So I wouldn't depend on the grammar in a song, but vocab for sure. Speaking, it practices your speaking when you sing along to the song. So you're practicing your accent and you're practicing how quickly you can sing, because in Spanish they speak extremely quickly. And you're also practicing your listening because you can hear the way they pronounce it. Also, with some songs, I would still maybe double check with the word because they still sometimes pronounce it wrong to kind of fit the rhyme, but still most of the time everything is pronounced like normally. So, and then if you want to practice reading, go look up the song on Google and actually like just read through the whole song as if it's a story. So then the next point is to listen to podcasts in Spanish. This is a little bit more like an intermediate advanced level. Like if you're a beginner, maybe this isn't really helpful because you're not really hearing much, but I still think it would be helpful because immersion is extremely important when you're learning a language. But with podcasts, you're mainly only practicing listening, but you can also practice speaking by imitating the words that they say, so trying to like pronounce it the same way. And then you can also practice writing by just like writing down any word that they said and you didn't understand. Reading, I honestly don't think there's any way to practice reading in podcasts. If you think of one, let me know. I don't know, maybe there's like podcast that's also a blog at the same time. That would be I don't know, I've never seen that. But so the next tip is journal about your day and substitute words in that you don't know. Do not worry, just write as much as you can. And I don't mean like make your sentences shorter. I mean literally just write a sentence in Spanish, and if you don't know one word, just write that word in English and circle it. And then at the end of the day, when you finish your journal entry, you could just look back at all the words that you circled that you didn't know. This could be 50 words, this could be 5 words, it does not matter. And just write the vocab in at the bottom. And then the next day when you have to talk about the same thing, you'll already know how to speak about it because you learned the word yesterday. So journaling, that practices your writing, but you can also practice your speaking by reading out everything you've written. And honestly, I think journaling is my favorite method out of all these because it's the most natural one. And then for reading skills, read over it and look up synonyms for words that you use a lot for. So for example, if I say bien a lot and I'm just like, my day was bien, my food was bien, I'm gonna go and try to look for another word because, you know, bien is a very, very, very basic word. Like most people that don't even speak Spanish know what bien means. So if you really want to grow from like an intermediate to advanced, you need to start growing your like synonym lists. And then the last tip is to literally imitate Spanish people speaking. And I don't mean in real life, that would probably be a little rude in real life, but I would really recommend watching those like live street interviews. You know, like when people go out on the streets and they just like come up to people and they ask them about something. Watch them and like analyze them, because in those videos there's so much slang, which is extremely important. Also just like natural pronunciation, because sometimes if you're watching like a YouTuber who teaches Spanish, they'll give you the extreme clear perfect pronunciation, which is important to learn, but it might not be as natural. If you want to like try fool people that you're really a Spanish native speaker, you gotta analyze their accent to death. Like you just need to know it inside out. Okay, now we're gonna quickly talk about how you can incorporate more Spanish into your everyday life, because immersion is extremely, extremely, extremely important. So these are gonna be really quick little things that like you probably know, but you know. First of all is follow Spanish influencers and YouTubers. If they post on their Instagram story, you're seeing natural spoken Spanish, you're hearing natural Spanish. Next thing is set your phone to Spanish. Next thing is listen to more Spanish music. Music is really important to Spanish people, and I fully understand it. Like I love their music, and you can learn a lot just by listening to their music. So next thing is speak to yourself as you do daily tasks. Like literally, if you're like, I'm gonna go eat food now, like just say that to yourself in your head. Like just speak to yourself daily. You'll see a lot of the words that you're missing, and you'll also like practice speaking quicker. Next thing is search things up on Google in Spanish. Instead of looking up something in English, just look it up in Spanish and you're immersing yourself more. And yeah, those are the little tips. They're just like quick little things that you could do daily. Okay, now we're gonna quickly talk about resources. So we're gonna talk about apps, podcasts, YouTube channels, Spanish singers, and TV shows. I'm just listing my favorite ones, so please recommend your favorite ones in the comments down below because you're gonna be helping everybody out. So number 1 is apps. First app we have is Spanish Dict. I think this is the best Spanish dictionary you will find. That's down for a debate. great, but from personal use, it is just the best one. Reverso is the app that I mentioned earlier. Anytime you look up a word, it will give you context for that word and you can kind of see it being used. Then Duolingo, Memrise, and Babbel. They're very common. Everybody knows them. Everybody laughs at them. But to be honest, if you use it consistently, it can help you. Like, it should never be your only resource ever, but I cannot explain to you how much Memrise has helped me with my Spanish. Like, Memrise is the app that started my Spanish journey, and that's the app that, like, single-handedly on its own, like, got me halfway to where I am now. Like, now where I'm at, Memrise didn't get me here, but Memrise definitely, like, helped me across half the way. Next app is HelloTalk. That's just like the language exchange app that I mentioned earlier. Next app is Fluent U. I think they basically have like videos and quizzes and just like a lot of different little activities. The only thing is it's not always free, but I've heard amazing reviews about it, so I mean. And then we have Anki and Quizlet, which are both flashcard apps. I mainly only use Anki, but Quizlet is amazing. It is 100% amazing. Anki's amazing. Both of them are amazing. Yeah, that is all the apps. So for podcasts, I only know 3 podcasts, so those are the ones I'm going to recommend. So please, if you know some good Spanish speaking podcasts, let me know because I'd like to listen to more. But the first one is Con Amor Carajo. The next one is Entiende tu mente y Hay que hacernos millonarios. They motivate me a lot and they make me feel productive, so I really like them. For the YouTube channels, 3 or 4 of these I actually like watch on a regular basis, but 3 or 4 of these I only discovered recently when I was actually just doing research for this video because I wanted to recommend more channels, but I really like it and I subscribe to all of them. So the first channel is Beyond Words, and her channel is kind of based on like personal development and health and productivity. You're gonna see a lot of these channels are based on productivity. It's just like the topic I like. The next channel is Iris Roy. I don't know how to pronounce the names. I'm so sorry. But she basically has videos about self-care, habits, productivity, finance, like everything. I love her. I think on this list, she has to be my favorite. The next one is Viole Franco. I think her name is Violeta. But she basically has like a comedy channel, kind of. She just makes random videos, but I really love her. And she also has an Argentinian accent, which I just love the Argentinian accent. Like, I'm not learning the Argentinian accent, but I love it. And she has it. And I love listening to her. The next guy, I don't know how to say his name. I'm so sorry. Huge. In English, you'd say huge, but it's just not huge. Love his channel. It's about like entrepreneurship, business, finance, productivity. Do we see a pattern? Yes, we do. Next person is Isadora Vera, and she has a lot of productivity vlogs, which I love. Next is 8th Avenue. She also has a lot of productivity vlogs and planning videos, and it's just like right down my alley, or right down my avenue. I'm sorry. And then the last person is Cristina Asai, and she has a lot of videos on lifestyle, fitness, and organization. I would highly recommend all those YouTubers. Also, once again, if you have any recommendations, let us know, because I would like to follow more. Honestly, I would love to get to the point where I follow more Spanish people than I do English people, because my Spanish would just grow like crazy. This is the thing with YouTube. The more Spanish people you watch, the more Spanish people YouTube algorithm will recommend to you. So even if you find a bunch of Spanish people that you don't really like, go on their videos, like their video, like comment something, like just comment a heart, and the YouTube algorithm will bring you the Spanish YouTubers. They will come to you. Then the next thing is Spanish singers. I don't really think I need to recommend Spanish singers, but I'm just gonna let you know. I have a very basic taste with Spanish music, but you know. First, number 1, Bad Bunny. I love Bad Bunny so much. Any song by Bad Bunny, I'm like, Dana Paola, Ozuna, Becky G, Rosalía, Michael de la Calle. Those are some of my favorite Spanish singers. Very random. And then for TV shows, I'm gonna say Elite, La Casa de Papel, Vis a Vis, Las Chicas del Cable, Valeria, Control Z, y Oscuro Deseo. So yeah, that was it for my video. My camera is about to die, so I really want to make this really quick, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Let us know more tips, more recommendations, more resources, because this can just be like a video where we all help each other with Spanish. Thank you for watching. I hope you got some value out of this video. I love you all guys so much. That didn't make sense. Anyway, I love you. Peace out. Much love.